The geography is all about the natural and the human constructed phenomenon. However, when we do study about this natural and human constructed phenomenon, we try to do it in relationship with or in relative to what is called as spatial dimension. So the study of natural and human constructed phenomenon relative to the spatial dimension is regarded as geography. Here, geography has had its own significant historic evolution. In the early evolution of geography, we find that there was a lot of contribution made by the Greek geographers. The earliest such contribution was made by Herodotus, and Herodotus, who lived between 484 BC to 425 BC, has made a significant contribution. He wrote a number of volumes which described both the human and physical geography of various regions, particularly of Persian Empire. Then the immediate next important contribution is from Aristotle, and here Aristotle tried to hypothesize and scientifically demonstrate that the earth had a spherical shape. The third most important contribution came from this thinker named Eratosthenes, and here Eratosthenes has tried to calculate the equatorial circumference. He tried to calculate the equatorial circumference, and surprisingly he could calculate it near approximate value. Here he calculated that it is around 40,233 kilometers, and if you look at the original value which has been calculated by the modern scientific and technological developments is at 40,072 kilometers. So given this fact that Eratosthenes' contribution, given the very rudimentary state of the technological evolution, is very, very significant. The next important contribution was from Romans, because most of these Greek accomplishments in geography were then passed on to the hands of Romans, and Roman military commanders and administrators have used this information to guide the expansion of their Roman Empire. The first such important contribution and important addition to whatever the information that was made available by the Greek geographers has been made by this thinker named Strabo. You know that Strabo has also made his contributions towards Indian geography, where he tried to explain some of the regional features of the Indian political entity. Here Strabo wrote a 17-volume compilation named Geographia. Here he traveled widely and he recorded what he had seen and what he has experienced from a geographical perspective. Secondly, the next important contribution was from Ptolemy. Ptolemy made a number of important contributions to geography, and whatever the book that he compiled and summarized is known as Guide to Geography, and he provided whatever the information that was provided by Greek and Roman geographers in the form of a compilation which has been accumulated in this particular composition named Guide to Geography. And apart from this, you know that most of the Middle Ages between 5th to 13th centuries AD was a time of intellectual stagnation. There was not much contribution that was made to this in this particular part of period. However, in the Middle East, there was evolution of the Arab academia, and they started translating the works of Greek and Roman geographers starting in the 8th century AD, and they started exploring southwestern Asia and also Africa. Some of the important intellectuals in relationship with Arab geography were Al-Idrisi, Ibn Battuta and also Ibn Khaldun. They wrote extensively about North Africa and Middle East. However, most of the important contributions came during this period of what is called as Renaissance. During this Renaissance period, there were numerous journeys which have been made, and these numerous journeys have clearly brought out the shape, size, form and the geographical exploration of many states in Europe to the fore. Most of these voyages were financed because of the potential commercial returns from resource exploitation. So the voyages also provided an opportunity for scientific investigation and also discovery. These voyages have added many significant contributions to geographic knowledge. The important explorers of this period include Christopher Columbus, Vasco da Gama, Ferdinand Magellan. Then you have Jacques Cartier and many such explorers who brought out the geographic knowledge to the fore. Then the important contribution was from Immanuel Kant, who is a German philosopher. Immanuel Kant, he proposed that the human knowledge could be organized in three different ways. One way of organizing knowledge was to classify its facts according to the type of objects studied. Accordingly, he said that there is study of animals in the form of zoology, botany examines plants, and also geology involves the investigation of rocks. The second way in which the Kantian classification tries to study is according to its temporal dimension. So this field of knowledge is of course called history. The last method of organizing knowledge involved according to the facts relative to spatial relationships. This field of knowledge generally came to be regarded as geography. So Kant also divided geography into a number of sub-disciplines. He recognized the following six important branches within the field of geography. He says that there is physical geography, there is mathematical geography, there is moral geography, then you have what is called as political geography, then you have commercial geography and theological geography. Like this, Immanuel Kant has tried to bring out some of the varied aspects of the study of natural and human evolved phenomena in relationship with the spatial dimension. Apart from this, there was some contribution made by this particular geographic thinker named William Pattinson when he published an article in Journal of Geography where he suggested that the modern geography is now composed of four very important academic traditions. One is spatial tradition, the second one is area studies tradition, third is human land tradition, and the fourth one is the earth science tradition. Given this evolution of geography, it has attained significance in terms of even the discipline. Here, so as we have understood, the geography studies the naturally constructed phenomena and the human constructed phenomena in relationship with the spatial dimension, and accordingly hence we have the physical geography and then we have what is called as human geography. In geography hence we study in a way which is integrating a wide variety of subject matter. Almost we find that any area of human knowledge that can be examined from a spatial perspective can come under this discipline called geography. We find that there are certain sub-disciplines even within the human and physical geography. Here we observe that physical geography primarily has a study of the Earth's atmosphere, which we talk about in terms of both meteorology and also climatology. Then you have a study about the entire biodiversity, which is studied under what is called as biogeography. And then you have the study of physical landscape and its landforms, which is studied in terms of geomorphology. Then we study even the soils and their nature and their properties, which is again what is called as pedology. And then you have the study of the entire water component of the earth, which is studied under hydrology. So all these aspects of physical geography are under the study under the geography discipline. Then you have under the human geography, we study about the human society and culture, which is regarded as social and cultural geography. Then we study about the behavior of these humans, which is called as behavioral geography. Then you have economics, politics and urban systems studied under economic geography, political geography and urban geography respectively. So what we observe here is that the study of geography is particularly the holistic synthesis of both physical geography and the human geography, and this entire region of holistic synthesis is significant in the study of geography. Here the synthesis is of both physical geography and human geography. So having understood this aspect, if we move ahead, we find that the study of geography when it involves holistic synthesis, it connects knowledge from a variety of fields, not only of the physical and human geography but also of various other disciplines that we have in social sciences. Here we must also again remember that when we study physical geography, we study the spatial patterns of weather and climate, we study the spatial pattern of soils, the spatial patterns of what is called as vegetation, animals, and also water in all its forms and landforms. Here, physical geography also try to examine the interrelationship of these phenomena on human activities. So this human land tradition has been studied under the entire physical geography. Here, hence under physical geography, we particularly study about the geomorphology, we also study about the pedology, which is about study of soils. Then we study about what is called as hydrology. We also study about the climatology. Like this, there are various other sub parts that we study under what is called as physical geography.